From a retailer perspective, I think these guys will know as well, over the last 12 months, they've asked landlords to share in the knowledge of their business. They want landlords to understand what they do, and I think that's a very important note going forward for everybody, is that this flexibility that Jacques will always complain at me about in terms that retailers want, with break clauses, with turnover rents, with high capital contributions. The retailer doesn't want it to be all one-way traffic. They want to share in the success of the store with the owner, and they want the owner to understand what their business is all about. I think the American brands are really leading the way in that at the moment. They are speaking directly with owners and developers and encouraging them to understand what they do and how they trade and why they want 600 square meters in absolute prime location with a capital contribution as well. They generate excitement, and when the landlord and developer can believe and understand what they do for their trade, which is retailing to the consumer, then they will buy into that brand. And I think that's a key thing going forward through 2010 and 11 as well. The innovation and the difference is the relationship between retailer and their customer. It's involving the customer in the whole process and making the customer feel at home. The big American brands are doing it. Apple, you can't go past an Apple store without the place being packed. Whether they're checking their emails or not, it doesn't matter. It's showing activity, and it's that interaction between retailer and customer which is key. No longer can you open the doors and stack the shelves with clothes and stand and wait for the customers to turn up. You've got to give them the experience.
I think there are two key drivers for business. The one obviously is sustainability. We'll get back to that separately. The other one, technology. It could very well be that, especially for Europe, the way to a very large and quick introduction of all methods of the digital society will prove to be a key business driver. Sustainability is going to be maybe the single most important issue for the coming decade. It's not a question of if or even why. It's a vital one. It's a key driver for business for many different reasons. It's necessary. The consumer increasingly wants it, expects it, and as a society we have to deliver. It's not going to be easy, but there's a clear change in the mindset of the people in all walks of life and in business as well. Our own company is fully and clearly focused on sustainability, to give an example, but also many of the leading retailers clearly simply expect you to deliver a sustainable project. And sustainability is not only about energy, the climate, it's about social and cultural sustainability as well. It's simply about good behavior.
I would add to Jacques' comment that obviously it's in a way more compelling to us on new developments. So you can start with a greenfield project, and so you can integrate in the management of the development and then on the asset itself when it will be run, the sustainability factors. So that's what we are doing, and I would agree it's essential. To come back to the risk attached to sustainability, the big thing is about the existing asset, because obviously that in shopping centers you have many of them in Europe which date back to some, I would say, to some decades. So they are old. I mean, they are old sometimes when you are seeing them, but they are old technically, and so they are not covering at all the sustainable factors that we are looking for. And so for, I would say, people like us, I mean, the landlords, it's a very impacting factor. So we are trying to tackle this too with some, I would say, in-house plans to optimize things and to invest on that. And that for sure, I would say that in your business plan, you can expect to increase the level of capex you will have to inject in your shopping centers. I mean, the existing ones. The industry lived on the idea that, I mean, few capex were at the landlord expenses, but I guess my expectation will be that it will you need to increase it. That's the main thing. And to conclude on this factor, I will join Jacques' comment on the first thing is to have in mind that today the consumers have a poor image of shopping centers and sustainability. So they are seeing the shopping center as something not very compliant or in line with sustainability. And the industry needs to move that, to change the image. So it's not only techniques, or I would say real work, but it's also a question of perception in the public.